Okay, so hi y'all. Welcome to our fourth System Analysis and Design prep course. Today we're going to go over the prototype for the competition. We were going to do the state machine diagram, but turns out that we need a little bit more study time on that since we kind of skipped over it last year when we learned it in class. So we're going to meet with a professor this week so that we can try to give you something meaningful to like study. So we'll go over the user interface. Gabby is going to go over the aspects of, the design like in Visual Studio, things that you will probably need on a prototype. And then we'll go over the prototype from last year's competition and just kind of, it's a pretty simple concept, but this is just a little practice for us to make a prototype.
We're gonna read through it and then go over it together,
That's it.
not individually, just all together and see how far we can get through until y'all feel like you've mastered user interface.
So take it away.
Prototyping. Okay, so we also had worksheets from last session. I just want to make sure if y'all didn't get them that they are on the website. They're up, right, Liz?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
The worksheets from last time are up?
I sent them in an email, but I sent them to Tristan, and Tristan has not posted them yet, from what I can recall.
Okay.
So I'm trying to make that happen, but we'll
we did send them. Do y'all have them? Cause
I sent it to y'all too,
Okay.
and then everybody who was at the session last time.
So if y'all have questions, just let us know. So user interface design. It just has the definition of the user interface, but we really, for the prototyping, what we're going to be doing is making some sort of program window, either using Visual Basic, or you guys can use copy and pasting into Paint or Adobe Photoshop, any sort of thing that you guys feel like you want to use. Yes.
There's also some online tools. One of them is like Mockingbird.
Okay.
And so you could do SketchUps on that if you have internet access.
Mockingbird?
Something like that.
Okay.
Or Draw.io that y'all were looking at.
And Visio I think you can use too to do certain things. I just think that VB would be since we've already taken VB 1 and 2, that using Visual Studio would be pretty easy. So a lot of the stuff I'm going to go over is sort of vocabulary from that, like the list box and checkbox, which we learned today are the same on iPhone apps. That was our commonality. Sorry, little joke. This is my brain by 5:30 in the evening. Okay, so when you're going through the practice problem, one of the things that they did write in the instructions is that the prototype does not have to execute on a computer. I got embarrassed, so I got hot. It was just a flush.
Menopause.
So the prototype may be prepared using a number of software packages, like we just talked about. Make sure you arrange the interface screens in a hierarchical or logical successive order that repeats a user dialog from the interface screen. So you want to make sure that whatever screen we're doing, it kind of goes in a storyboard effect. So the first screen that the person would see, the second screen, if they clicked on a button in that. So we want to make sure that it all makes logical sense. And then sample data should be used, or should be included on the interface screen. In other words, more points will be given to a prototype that appears to be working for a given transaction or test scenario. So you don't want to just have a list box on there and not have anything filled into it, because obviously that's the information, that's the best tool or function to use for that type of information that we're going to be using, and we'll talk about that a little more in depth. So a user-centered design, I just sort of put general things that you guys need to be thinking about when you're making a user interface, because it's not just, okay, we have a window up here. We want to make sure that when we're doing it that we're making it very logical and easy to use, so that if somebody looks at it, that it's the best design for that specific problem.
Let me pause here. Is everybody following? Do you have any questions at all before she moves on? Okay.
So we want to focus on the focus early on the users and their work. So like what their think of like their level of usage. Like if we're all computer people, it might be okay for us to use a program that's a little more complicated, but if we're thinking of people like in the business world, they want to make it as easy as possible. So, you know, clicking links versus buttons. Like a person, if you know, clicked a button, it's probably going to be a little easier to like distinguish versus different links that might not be highlighted. What are you giggling about?
Oh, nothing. Keep going.
And evaluate designs to ensure usability. I put the definition of usability off to the side. So it refers to the degree to which a system is easy to learn. And then the iterative development. So we want to, this kind of like has to do, I guess, with like, in SWAT, how we're doing like web development stuff. So we want to think of how the user is going to be using it, the different business processes. And then we do some design work, we implement them, and then repeat, so we get like different feedback and keep working on it. So those are just general principles that you would use in any program. But the guidelines for designing windows and forms, there's the interface layout formatting, so we want to make sure it's consistent. So when you make a window, you just want to make sure that you're not, if you have the main menu is this and it has like the toolbar up here
The tabs.
and different tabs, yeah. So if it's home, I don't know, what would be another like,
Join.
okay,
Contact.
and contact. So we don't want to open up the next,
And lose that.
and then it says home, contact, join. Because if somebody's used to that being there, you want to just make sure that you have like one main way to look at everything. And then you don't want different fonts everywhere because then it just becomes confusing to the user. Labels and headings, and then distribution and order. So if I have this first menu that looks all like nice and skinny at the top, and then I did this one down here and it's like just very big. I don't know, I'm sure you guys have been to different websites and they have like weird buttons that you can click and you're kind of like, oh, well, I thought that that was going to be there, but it's in a different place on this page. Data entry, this is where we get into the text box, list box, combo box, radio buttons, and check boxes. So text box, if they want to enter, if you don't know, say maybe weight of something, you don't want to have a list box there that like pulls down and it's like 1,000 different weights. We probably want them to just put in 4.5 pounds. So there we would just make a text box that says, you know, that's empty or it has data in it. And then you would just do the label here for whatever you want put in here. Different drop down boxes if you have like categories of something, you would want that in there. Radio buttons if they can only check one option or the other, or you know, 1 out of the 5, or of course check boxes if they have multiple options that they can choose from. Navigation and support controls, again, like navigation menus. So if they want to go all the way back to a different window, that they're able to do that easily. And so I just put in here, like just an example, I googled prototype and this is one of the pictures that came up. And then just UI development stages, so we want to make sure that we design it, the implementation stage, which would be the prototype, develop a paper interactive screen mock-up that focuses on the interface, don't include distracting visual design elements. So that's why all of those X's are there. The reason why is because they don't want different pictures or logos, and we'll show you some of like last year's designs that won, and I kind of found it distracting to myself because they're all like big X's.
Yeah.
Like I would just rather put the name or the logo
Me
or
too.
something.
I like
But
it.
that is one of the things that I found, and so I did put like 2 links that you'll be able to click onto when you get on, when these get put up on our website, or you can type in the entire long address. But one of them is just like for all the different buttons and labels, I guess like part of their library that you could use. That's what this top one is for. So all the different types of, what am I trying to think of? Like, what would you call like a label, a checkbox, a radio button?
Selection types.
Yeah, but like for any of those things that you can use.
Design elements.
Design controls, that's
I like that.
awesome. All of those are on this website and they talk about like when you would use them or like
Nice.
the best times to use them. And then the bottom one, this Microsoft MSDN. I'm really sorry guys. This just talks about like user interface development stages and all the different things in that. So it goes a little more into the specifics, but do you guys think you understand what we're doing?
Also, they sometimes call it wireframing. So if you look up that, you can find the
That
programs.
would, yeah, a lot of like web development stuff. And so we want to make sure that we just keep all this stuff in mind because I think sometimes we get caught up in, especially like with BB, we get caught up in, oh, well, I could use this thing, but is it the most efficient way to display it? Is it the most easy to use? Because I think that that's really what the judges are going for.
Think about websites you've used and just use that kind of information to create yours.
Just base it on Google.
One
We
box.
need that.
Like I
People
mean,
know.
if you guys think about it, like that is probably one of the best examples that I can think of for user interface. Like the simplicity of it versus like Yahoo or like MSN.com.
Yeah.
When
Bing.
Google, when they first came out, people like they did usability tests and they were like, okay, you know, go on this website, and people would wait there and keep waiting, and like the test people came over and they were like, okay, so what's going on, or why can't you use this? And they're like, we're waiting for it to load. Because when Google came out, like all those other homepages were just cluttered with stuff, and now it's gotten to the point where when I go to those cluttered sites, I'm like, I can't do this. So
That was us.
we're gonna go through
Yeah.
now.
So what I want to do is just kind of make it like interactive with y'all. So maybe we can just read, kind of like the last session that I did where I kind of went like line by line and I described why I did something. So we could just go through the paragraph and then talk about what we think needs to be added and what's the most useful. So in the problem statement, there is a section in there, like I keep saying, it's pretty like sectioned out so that it's kind of telling you, okay, the class diagram is going to be like here, and you know, this is going to be over here. So in this, it actually states behavior, I think it says, let me see, behavioral model, and it says the presentation / interface scenario. And that is included, see, before it says the behavioral aspect, that's what it says above it, if you look at the problem statement. So again, y'all need to look at the problem statement. The project director logs onto the scheduling system with a user ID and password. The system will check the authenticity of this information. If it's correct, the system does this, this, and this with a window page. Okay, so I guess I could just keep reading it. The window or web page will prompt the project director with a main menu. This main menu should enable the project director to do this, do this, do this, and do this, and do this. So just based off of that, as you can see, the next paragraph is talking about the project manager logs in. He's got a separate task, or separate, he has separate tabs for the website. So first we need to just base our focus off of what's the project director doing when he's getting on the website, on their internal website. So let's just start with that. So what do we need here?
I think it's like 3 different windows. Do y'all like the log
So let's just
on?
start with the first one. Let's just start
So
with
what
the
are
first
we
window.
doing? The storyboard or the design?
No, the prototype.
Prototype. Okay.
Mhm. So what do we need first? We need a window that's doing what? When he's getting on the website, what's he doing?
Logging on.
logs on with a user ID and password, right? So, we've got our form, okay? So you've got a label here, user ID, and I think it's important just to go based off of what this is saying. I think in the solution, they put user email. And I was like, well, the ID doesn't have to be an email, right? So just go based off of what they said. And then do your box for their entry. And it also needs a password. So put that here. All right, and then what else do we need based off that paragraph?
Login button.
Okay. So, log in. Now, that seems to be it, really, because then it says if it's correct, then the system presents the director with a window or web page. So that means it's moving on to the next window, right? So probably, I guess, maybe design-wise, we probably put like a logo or something like that, just so it indicates that this is like their site or
Yeah.
something like that,
So it's branded.
yeah, like their brand or something. So that's why you'll see in the problem state, or the solution, that they put that big X here, because that's supposed to indicate like the brand or the logo or whatever. So that's like their indicator. So we'll move on to the next window. Pretty easy, right? It's like just think about how you would intuitively go through a website and make it. Alright, so if correct, the system will present the director with a window or web page. The window or web page will prompt the director with a main menu. So you need a task bar, or not a task bar, but like a, I don't know, what do you call it? Like a tab?
Bar.
Menu.
Yeah.
So you could put the menu strip up here. I think that's what it's called in BB. That'd probably be best, just to put it up there. And it's already called menu strip. Right. So this main menu should enable the project director to, so create a new project, actually. Or you could just say new project, really. You can just write whatever you want. I'm not gonna list them all, so let's just do 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's 5 different tabs. So that's it. Ta-da. So you probably need,
Or, I mean, you could do that, or you could do, like we were talking about in iOS today, like the list, like a list box.
Yeah,
So that it lists out like long ways.
mhm.
and then you click on which one option you would like.
Yeah. Yeah. Which would work. I mean, you could keep that tab up at the top, but then like do a list box or
Yeah.
like, I mean, there's always different solutions
I
to
mean,
the
there's gonna be a
problem.
million
And
correct
what
answers.
And so what I think is that the best thing to do is go buy this first and make, you know, what it's specifically asking for,
Yeah.
and then do your design. So, like, for example, the solution has a whole window here that's like, welcome, Bob, you know, for that project director. It also has a section right here that says, you know, the employee status. He's a project director. His name is, you know, William Bob. And then over here it's got something else that identifies who he is. And then it's got like a whole section down here, you know, on like a website, it's got like home, about, you know, stuff like that. So it has all these links down here. So I think the best strategy is to go based off of what it specifically indicates you need, and then go back and be like, okay, what would make this look like a real website? What else needs
Like
to be
the
added
little
to it? What are the
details.
design details? Yeah, just as long as you have those key things at first.
So making templates would be a good.
Yeah, yeah, so probably make templates, yeah. Like, pretty much every time that they're asking for a login, the login page is gonna look pretty much the same, right? So make like a login template, and you can change it later, because it is kind of time consuming to drag things over in Visual Studio and then like click in them and change the, it sucks, so.
So this is
Templates would be useful.
kind of what the wireframe might look like. Like that,
Yeah, and so just make a template
like that.
like that. And I'm pretty sure that your login is gonna be that template, and then you can just put your little design features on it. And that'll save you time.
See, that looks like what they used in the solutions.
Right.
It looks really, really, really clean.
Yeah, you
So-
can go ahead and show them.
It was done with a program somehow, so we could figure out what program they're using. We could use that program.
I mean, I think that VB, like, as long as you know what you're doing in there, I think that it has all the things. That's honestly what I would use, because then you're not having to worry about, like, copy and pasting things, and I just feel like Paint is super hard to use. I would just get everything that you,
See, because I think they're using,
Even Xcode, I like Xcode's.
I think they might be
design.
using an online system. I think it looks really close to Lovely Charts.
Lovely charts.
Yeah, but no, they paid for that one. So, because the way the style looks, given the screenshots, one of them was simple diagrams. It lets them
Yours
just
knows
kind of
all.
wireframe it.
Andrew knows all the interface.
Well, I was trying to find wireframing tools. There's one that you can download to your computer and it's free. It's just a little more complicated, but I think that it's also in the presentation, so it comes off really, really clean. They
That's
look
what-
like it
yeah.
was like a real website in the solution
Yeah.
versus like a VB window. So I'm just not sure.
Yeah, so, I mean,
Well,
we'll
and
probably look into
there-
other ways to do it too, but.
there's also like web design plugins that you can do in VB that will make it look a little
Oh,
more
okay. Web
like
V.
that. Yeah, like like we used just like Windows forms. We didn't use a web form. And so
Okay.
you can do that in VB and it'll like make the HTML code
Cool.
for you with certain things. Next.
No.
Project
Okay.
manager.
So, the project manager. So, as you can see, each one of the roles, each one of the actors has a different web page when they're logging in for their account. Does that make sense? That logically makes sense. Okay, so the project manager logs on the scheduling system with his user ID and password. So you don't need to recreate what you already created. You've already got the user ID and password page, so that's okay.
Sorry. Scheduling system I feel like would be something that we would need to add to that page. Just writing scheduling system as like a title for it, because it lists it so many times here that I feel like, along with the logo. And then writing like scheduling system.
Oh, the logo?
Yeah.
So the logo is
And then like in the middle of, like how they would do like the title of a page or something, or like up here.
Yeah.
You'll know what I mean, like just writing scheduling system on there.
As their logo. Or not.
No, I would keep the logo and then just write it on the other
scheduling
side.
system of this company.
Yeah.
Was the other one a scheduling system?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, probably. I would do that too.
Just
Like
because
the
I know
title
they
of the
wrote it
system,
so many
so
times.
that you know what it is.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So put that on your login page and then you still have your same login page as the first one. So you don't need to recreate it, you just keep going on past the project director interfaces. Okay. So, what do y'all think I should do? Someone tell me what to do.
Do you guys think that the system will check the authenticity of this information? Do you think that that just has to do with the login, or do you think there's like a pop-up or something that's telling them that it's checking it? I don't know if that would be
The
part
system
of.
would check authenticity, so could that be like a security question?
It's in the back end.
Isn't that behind the scenes?
Yeah, that's behind the scenes, and then it's like an alternate flow if it's not the right credentials. So I don't know if it's
Okay.
necessary to make a prototype that shows you did not
Into
put
the
in your
password.
stuff correctly.
Okay.
Because we're kind of leaving out login out of the use cases, right? So we're supposed
Right.
to make a use case that goes with each. You know what I'm saying? So we left that out of the use cases. So
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to have a login page
then after
to
that,
show it, but I don't think you need to list all the alternative flows.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. But maybe you could put like a little label, you know, that says like, forgot your password,
That's good.
something like that. Just, again, think about websites you've used and try to put that on your prototype. Alright, so basically it's going to look pretty much exactly the same as the project director. Whatever you made for the project director, just kind of keep that consistency. But the only thing that's going to change is that he's going to have, his menu will say assign tasks or something. And that'll be his. And then probably, I don't know, did it say home on theirs? What did they put?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, like a home. But if you had put like the welcome Bob, then you should keep that. And just keep that whole consistency of the first layout that you did. So like home, about, and then whatever else you think should go in here. They had some really good ones on the solution. I will probably copy them. I need to, oh, thank you. I was like, where's their solution? So they put, in that section, they put home, about, contact us, disclaimer, FAQs, links, news, privacy policy, terms and conditions, like, they really were thinking. They probably went to a website
Yeah.
during the competition and checked out to see, you know, what was in there. So,
there's some neat stuff. I think it's really strange because it looks exactly like, if you look at the bottom corner, it says getrudzar.com. So I went to that website.
Oh.
It looks really similar to what they've copied. So
What's it called?
really,
yeah, so it seems like they just copied the outline of the website
looks like it.
and somehow forgot to take off. the
You're right.
copy.
Wow.
How do they, I guess that's
There's
okay.
there's a tool that's called Wireify, and it's a bookmarklet. So you click that while you're on a web page, and it turns the entire web page and makes it look like that. So yeah, interesting.
Weird.
That's why there's big X's over all the pictures.
No wonder.
There's like a way that you can do.
I
just
guess
found
that's
this
not
simple.
cheating. I don't know.
See, look.
Use whatever. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
See, look. It turns it into this.
Yeah.
So it takes this web page, and you click the button, and it turns everything into like gray wireframe type setup.
Interesting.
So you could use that to like demo what Google looks like in a wireframe.
Weird.
It just uses the
I always want to know
iframes.
what Google looks like in a wireframe.
Yeah, you guys are looking at that.
So,
She gets her.
It's called
Looking
Wireify.
at wireframes of Google.
F-I.
for my interview.
WIRIFY.com.
Just, you know, one day decided to look at all your pages in wireframe.
And then
I make jigsaw puzzle socks.
But you guys just keep in mind that we might not have internet during the competition, or the bandwidth may be taken up by our cell phones.
Seriously, Oklahoma was really bad
A
last year, so be
disaster.
prepared.
I had 4G, so I had internet through every
Yeah, but
competition.
it's Oklahoma. It's not that far from where we were.
But I had 4G if you have tethering on your phone.
Yeah, this time it is. Like, but ITT Tech, really? That's a technology school. Like,
But it was small.
It was in an abandoned mall.
it was. I know. It was such a weird.
The only thing that was
jump.
open in that mall was a bookstore and a bar
Yeah,
Yep.
it was weird.
Art gallery.
and an art gallery.
Interesting.
Okay, so if you'll
Moving
notice-
on.
If you'll notice, then that actor had that one use case, and that was on here. So maybe this provides you clues for like, oh yes, I did my use case right. Okay, so the team leader does the same thing, and then by logging in, and then the system checks. And the team leader will assign team tasks to specific team members with associated due dates. So, I think I just had a thought. What's going on with the project director?
That's the first one.
So that's what I'm
I
thinking,
know.
is it storyboarding? Because you need a flow for the project director and then a flow for the project manager.
It's not storyboarding, it's prototyping.
It's just prototyping.
Yeah, but you gotta label, like,
Storyboard is when you're like, when it's like an actual dialogue.
oh,
So when the user is
Yeah.
saying, I want to do this, and the system says back, blah, 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 it's really like a cheesy thing. I don't understand storyboards.
okay.
But yeah, what I was thinking was that, so it allows them to assign tasks to team members. So that's all that needs to do. So they haven't actually clicked on the assign tasks to team members. It's just showing you their homepage. Okay,
Oh,
I'm
wow.
clear now.
That's why I think the information steps will go more in.
Exactly. So the system should provide an interface to enable the assignment of specific tasks to be assigned to that project. In addition, there should be an option to list all the projects so that a manager can observe subform information listing existing teams assigned to the project along with the team members for each team assigned.
So, what kind of data entry? Would we do like,
Any thoughts from y'all?
yeah, what would you do?
You can help too. Just because we're leading the session doesn't mean we have to provide all the answers.
Talk over her.
Would you do a list box? So like, how would you, it says there should be an option to list all the projects so that the manager can obtain subform information. How would you display that on a screen?
So this is for the team leader still.
I guess it's a drop down, but it seems like,
You could do that, or you could do a list box,
so you can
and
scroll
then
through.
choose and,
Combo or list.
yeah.
Are they set
Or,
things?
No, it probably would be added, like someone adds it. Like you
You'd
can
be
see.
able to add it.
Let's see it.
Who would the administrator add it, or who would add it to that box?
I think the person that's
the
above,
project
through the
director
hierarchy.
adds the,
Project.
creates the project,
Yeah.
and,
Well, we're on
yeah.
this paragraph. The one before it says information steps and flow. That's what I
Yeah.
was reading.
No, that's what we're on, I'm on here, specific, so,
So this is, so after you, so what I'm trying to say is, what are we drawing? So the homepage of the team leader, and then this is part of the team leader action, correct?
Okay, so you have like a combo box or
So-
a list box that have the existing projects, and then underneath that, like something that, a button that you could create a new project with.
Hold on one second. So,
Checkbox, that
assign-
would be like new.
Yeah.
So, is it tasks, team tasks? Two members.
mhm.
Task to members. Okay, so I think that, I liked what they did on theirs. I think that it showed like a little shading on this to show that this is what's being selected, so this is what you're seeing. Okay, so just going off that, can you repeat what you said? That you think should be
well,
on the
this-
page?
This was actually the.
For this
actually
paragraph.
assigning the team.
'Cause this is coming from the team leader,
Well,
so.
this is teams, then has like a combo box that have teams available.
Okay, so a combo box. What's the combo box again?
A box that you
Yeah.
click
The
on the
drop
side,
down.
and there's multiple.
Is it the drop down that you want?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a combo box. Okay.
Says the BB tutor
Yeah.
in the room.
Hey, it has the words on it, all you have to just do is like drag it.
No, but I think that for everything that said that, I was like, a combo box in my head. I'm like, that's a combo box.
So list all the projects so that they can. Wait.
Or I'd be like drop down, like in VB I'd be writing drop down as the, like when I wanted to do something, I'm like drop down box.
What did you want in the drop-down box? I'm sorry.
Existing teams.
So which teams they are, so like team 1, and then under that it would say team 2, whatever, but you don't have to like display that because obviously if it's combo box,
Mm-hmm.
they probably know that, oh, you drop it down, team 1, team 2.
Is the team leader in charge of multiple teams?
The team leader will assign team tasks to specific team members with associated
Okay,
duties.
so maybe it shouldn't be team one, it should be team member.
Yep. It should be, so there should be a team 1, but also a member. So which member of that team? So after this team is selected, it has to populate with the team
Well,
members.
the team leader's only in charge of one team, so I mean, he wouldn't need to choose a different team.
But there's
he can't-
there's
he can't-
multiple teams.
What view is this from?
Oh, is
this the
Yeah.
director or the?
It's the
This is from the
team
team leader. It's right under
So
the.
the team leader only has one team though.
Yeah.
So that specific team leader, like team leader Bob, only can assign
It'll
things
just
for
have
team
member.
1.
There's really
Like
only
he
one
wouldn't
team
need to change.
No,
he
there's
wouldn't need to
probably
be
5,
assigning
but
multiple.
Bob is the team leader for team 1.
of his team.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then the combo box would be just the team
Yeah,
members.
Team
Yeah.
member.
I gotcha.
And I would probably just say like choose a team member
Yeah.
for the choose.
And then another drop down for task. And then a checkbox that would gray out the other thing if it's a task that doesn't exist yet.
Team leader, Bob, team 1. I know this is horrible for me. I don't actually write like that. And then you do what?
And then do you want a button or do you want to
There needs to be a thing
For
that
the
says
task.
task. A drop down that says task.
but when you're thinking about a
When you're assigning
user,
tasks.
I would probably make sure that that's already chosen, that the team person is already chosen, and
Oh,
then
you want
have
to
the
a
task
different.
show up.
So
No,
how about a
It can
list
show up on the
box?
same page.
Oh, okay.
So how about a list box of the tasks? So make up, or if there's tasks in here that are specifically stated, or just make them up and like, here's a task, here's a task, here's a task. So are they assigned one task?
Yeah.
So
that
if they're
project.
assigned one task, then a list box
Or maybe
makes
two
sense.
list box, one that's
Could be
assigned
one.
task and open task.
Should we have a checkbox for all the team members because you want to like assign a specific task for so many members or?
So it probably depends on how you read it. So the team leader will assign team tasks to specific team members with associated due dates. So you could read that as, okay, he one by one gives them a task, or multiple ones have a certain task.
I think that if we read later on, like to clarify that in the 7 pages, I'm sure you could go to that task and read it, because it is all sort of included. This is just the overall view, so you
There's
could go
12
to.
pages of this problem statement.
Yeah. So you could go to one of those problems and see if they're only allowed to assign it to one person or not.
Yeah.
What I was thinking is having two list boxes, one that says open tasks and one that says assigned to, for when you choose your team member, and then there's a button that's assigned, so you click on what you want to assign, and it would move it to the assigned to
That's good.
list box. And then you would click again if you had another thing you were assigning them. And it would take it out of this list box and put it in this one.
Yeah.
That's good.
They call me the UI messed up.
Are you even doing this competition?
No.
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 I'm just a
Thanks for
consultant.
contributing. But yeah.
I'm a
So
system analysis and design consultant.
So I don't know if I feel like we should really go on anymore. I feel like everybody kind of has the general idea
Yeah.
of what's going on, what you're expected to do, and then, yeah.
And then later on, it actually says if, down, like, at the bottom, like the next paragraph with the automated system, the last sentence says, then the member will be placed into a member-selected list box, essentially a shopping cart. This process will repeat until the manager is finished selecting potential team members. So just, if it already says a list box, we need to make sure it is a list box.
Yeah. Yeah.
Duh. I mean, I'm talking to like my 5 friends over here, so I know you guys understand, but
Are there any other questions?
yeah.
Go team.
Me? Any question?
So we will totally have state machine diagrams down by next Monday.
Yeah, hopefully. I have no idea.
We only
were
tried for
last
like
night,
2 hours last night.
We were like I thought I got it, and I was like, oh, no, here's how we do it. And then, like, I would run into another, like, problem, and I'd be like,
But
oh,
wait.
maybe I don't understand. So I emailed Dr. Long, so hopefully she can help us.